Man proposes at a baseball game, drops the ring and nachos in a big city on a warm summer evening. The stadium lights were shining bright. Thousands of people filled the seats, cheering loudly as their favorite baseball teams got ready to play. The smell of popcorn, hot dogs, and cheesy nachos floated through the air. Among the fans sat a man named Daniel. He was a cheerful man who loved baseball almost as much as he loved his girlfriend Sophie. Sophie sat beside him, wearing her team's cap and waving a foam finger. She was excited for the game, but she did not know that something even more exciting was about to happen. Daniel had been planning for weeks. He wanted to ask Sophie to marry him. He wanted to propose in a way she would never forget. And what better place than at the baseball game, with the big screen cameras and the crowd cheering? In his pocket, Daniel had a small box with a shiny engagement ring inside. He kept checking it nervously. "Tonight is the night," he whispered to himself. The game began. Fans cheered as the pitcher threw the first pitch. Sophie clapped and shouted happily. Daniel smiled, but his mind was not on the game. He was waiting for the right moment. Finally, during the third inning, the stadium announcer's voice boomed through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have something special tonight," cued at the big screen. The giant screen above the field showed Daniel and Sophie sitting together. The camera zoomed in. People in the crowd began to cheer because they knew what was about to happen. Daniel stood up, took the small box from his pocket, and dropped to one knee. "Sophie," he said nervously, "will you?" But before he could finish, something unexpected happened. The box slipped from his sweaty hands. The little ring flew into the air like a tiny silver comet. Everyone gasped. Daniel reached out to catch it, but the ring fell straight down plop, right into Sophie's tray of cheesy nachos. The crowd laughed, clapped, and shouted. Some people even stood up to see better. Sophie looked down at her nachos in shock. There was cheese, salsa, and jalapagos everywhere, and somewhere in the middle, the sparkling ring. "Oh no," Daniel cried. He quickly picked up the tray, looking through the gooey mess. His fingers got covered in cheese and chips, but he kept searching. The camera on the big screen showed everything. Thousands of people were watching Daniel dig through nachos like a treasure hunter. Sophie laughed so hard she almost spilled her soda. "Daniel," she said, "you dropped the ring in my nachos." Finally, with a cheer of victory, Daniel pulled the ring out of the cheese. It was a little messy, but it still sparkled, as the crowd roared with laughter and applause. Daniel wiped the ring gently with a napkin, then held it up again. "Sophie," he said, his face red with embarrassment but full of love, "will you marry me?" Sophie giggled, wiped some cheese off his cheek, and said loudly so everyone could hear, "Yes." The stadium exploded with cheers. The announcer shouted. She said yes. The baseball players even paused to clap and wave. Daniel slipped the cheesy ring on Sophie's finger, and the two of them hugged while the crowd chanted, "Nacho love."